up some stuff. Had to kind of update my blog. I got to start blogging again, it looked like. But, it's all cool, Anything for the movement, man. You know how we do. So I'm going to go and send out the black signal as well. Get some of y'all up here with me. The Per Ankh situation, Per Ankh is canceled for today. And I'm kind of disheartened by that. Because I kind of think it was, premature. The night of, you don't give the road people time to get shit together, then make a decision in them. You need to make those decisions like in the morning. You can't, not the night before, because we're not facing 0 degrees. I don't think it's 0 degrees out there yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't think snow don't stop those people from getting out and getting their weed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, people going to get liquor and shit, and people going to church. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand, because I just laid in, because I was going to do the show earlier, because I was looking forward to going to, let me go on and, I'm going to go on and pull up, the Uber conference. We're going to do the toast, because I like the energy, you know what I'm saying? I see how it went yesterday. And then I forgot to turn off the goddamn speaker, man. So that's a 5-hour show. I mean, we stopped, but I don't know what the hell happened in my house after because my shit was on for 5 hours. Let's just put it that way. I was gone. I went to go see Gye-Nyame Journey. Mentioned you in the comment. All right, we up, we live, family. It was going down today. Of course, we're going to have discussion about whatever it is that's on your mind. If you want to look at a proverb, if you want to hear a story, if you want to have a discussion about anything, we are here, right? I'm here. I'm going to open up the phone lines. But before we do that, because of what happened yesterday, right? I want to do the toast first, right? Let's get the ancestors. We don't want to keep them waiting, right? We want to make sure we get the energy. See, because I think part of the issue is that we didn't get the energy of the ancestors in the room, even though it was already there. But we didn't consciously get the energy of the ancestors in the room first. So maybe before, and sometime I might need somebody to help me to remember, Brother Hatem, you need to go and do, you need to go and do the toast. You know what I'm saying? Shots out. I think that's Sister Navita out there, piloting the Gye-Nyame Journey. We got Brother Kwame in the house. Gye-Nyame Journey shouted out Patal Ra. We about to get it. Family, make sure you got your glass. We grown folks. We drink out of glasses. Now, if you under 18, I'm going to even give you if you're under 30, right, and you establish your life, and you got to drink out of a plastic cup, it's all good. Shouts out to Miss Shelly. I see you up there. Look, it's all good. Now, once again, for those that's just tuning in, family, the goal today is to do the toast first, then get into the conversation. Because it went down yesterday. If you ain't catch it, you might need to catch it. It went down yesterday. We had a good conversation. Some things were brought to light. And I think anytime, because the key piece that we are discussing in a lot of this is the limits of blackness in a society that was not created by us, right? So, I mean, but then all of the other feelings and shit come off from there, because it's like, boom, we touching on something that is hard for us to create enough velocity to escape. And it seems like soon as we start getting the velocity to kind of escape this shit, when the engines go out or a nut come loose and shit, and it blows up and we got to start all over again. But family, lose not faith, Lose not, what is it? Lose not faith, lose not courage, go forward, uplift the race. You understand what I'm saying? Because the piece is, see, there I go. I'm running my mouth. Hold on. Let's get this music popping. Y'all know, it start moving on me, family. All right, so I want to welcome you to the Congregation of the Mighty. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. This is a Heart of December production, and this is the Daily Toast, where we strive to blow up your old paradigm.
Mr. Diddy.
Drink your water. Come on, drink your water, but first, take your breath and drink some water. Take a breath and drink some water. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath. Damn, that feel good. Drink. Or should we say, breathe, then drink. Now, get your bottle of some water. Get your glass for that water. Twist the cap off your water. Lift and pour that water. Drink. Or should we say, lift, pour, then drink. Now move your body and drink some water. Move your body and drink some water. Come on, stretch. Move your body and drink some water. Now move your body. Drink. Or should we say, move, then drink. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass. I can see your comments. Drink. Or should we say, move, then. Now take your breath and drink that water. Lift and pour some water. Move your body, drink some water. Raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Live, breathe, move, toast. That was all wrong. Let's try it again. Breathe, live, move, toast. That was good. Take a breath. Lift and pour and drink. Move your body. Toast your ancestors. Break down. Drink. Take your breath. Take a sip. Move your body. Take a sip. Raisin toast. Take a sip. Drink. Live, drink. Breathe, drink. I got 21 seconds left. Let's see if we can kill it. Come on, drink your water. Come on. 15. Oh. man, I failed. But you can't get good unless you fail a couple of times, right? So family, I want to apologize because yesterday, man, I had a bunch of comments that I wasn't able to see until the end. So somewhere along the line, there was a break with the program that I'm using and Facebook, YouTube, because I have 40 comments on Facebook that I wasn't able to see on screen. So I got to figure out how to fix that. And I want to apologize to everybody that was, you know what I'm saying, that were trying to tune in, right, and trying to get into the conversation. Now, when I open up the lines, the number is 614-556-4535. Family, I got enough room for 100 people. I know we don't want 100 people doing like we was doing yesterday, right? So, you know, like I said, I'm going to start being a little bit more liberal on that mute button and stuff like that so that I can go and get everybody in. You know what I'm saying? Because the object is give everybody an opportunity and a space to talk. Because what I'm finding is that a lot of times the internet allows us the space sometimes to actually have some good conversations. And then we could take those crucial conversations and from what we've been discussing, right? Those crucial conversations and have those in person, right? This allows us to get a lot of bullshit out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things that I started noticing with a lot of organizations that I was forming and a lot of people that I'm dealing with is that bullshit would always get in the way. Oh, I mean, it didn't matter. Didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But I have to realize that what's bullshit to me is fertilizer to another man. So I have to, a lot of times I have to keep my distance. You know what I'm saying? So that I can make sure that I'm able to just keep going, because one of the things I don't allow to stop me is I don't allow other people to stop what I'm doing. I build. You know what I'm saying? And I build and I take personal responsibility for what I'm building. So if it falls or if it fails, I'm responsible. I don't mind having responsibility. I don't mind being the one that people could say, oh, he messed up on that. You know why? Because one, that gives me opportunity to hone and perfect the skill. And second, that shows that at least I had something that a lot of people don't have, and that's the courage to do. Right? We got a lot of people standing on the sidelines and be psst, psst, psst. You know what I'm saying? But I always look at those ones that's doing and be like, shit, at least they doing something. At least they doing something. So Sister Shelley says 29 degrees. That's not wintertime. I mean, shit, we got a reprieve. Really, think about it, family. After Thanksgiving, from Thanksgiving until yesterday, we had a reprieve. You know what I'm saying? This is January weather. So we all should already know that this is January weather and got to it. So let me go and finish this water so I go, if people want to call in and we can have conversations about whatever y'all want. I want to make sure I'm still getting messages. Shouts out Miss Kim Carswell is in the house. We got somebody, the family is getting international. Sister Tiandra is in the house. You know what I'm saying? Miss Sister Tiandra, I'm riding around with this prize in my, we got to talk. You got to I'm going to have to track you down and give you your prize. Because this is getting ridiculous, right? But I understand. You busy, right? You have the courage to do, right? And so you're doing. I can dig it. So family, now, basic rules before we get into the libations. First off, remember we start off the day with the water. Sometime on these late days, I know that, y'all ain't waiting to drink no damn water with me. Y'all handling your business. But on the weekdays when we are up early, we start our day off with water. Then we move to a health drink. And we use that health drink to toast our ancestors, and then we complete the health drink. Now, in Gye-Nyame, we talk about the 4 pillars of health. What are the 4 pillars of health? And I feel I have to go on and always remind y'all about this. The 4 pillars of health. First pillar, breathing. Most important pillar. We often overlook it because it's just something that happened naturally, but breath keeps us alive. Breath allows our body to function, and improper breathing leads to sickness. So we need to take some time during each day to consciously breathe. This is why with Gye-Nyame we talk about the 2-2-4 self-help process, right? We got to spend at least 2 hours a day on us, working on us. and nation building and tribe building and stuff like that. But mainly 2 hours on improving your skill, improving you. And I think some of that time should be focused on breathing. There's plenty of books out there. I got a video out there about it. There's 100,000 videos out there about it. But family, breathing is important, and you will be surprised how many small diseases, I ain't even going to say small, how many diseases are caused by people not breathing properly. Right? Next one, water, right? Boom. Once you got to breathe in the water is something else that we overlook. You don't miss it till it's gone. But a lot of us are suffering from dehydration, and because we're suffering from dehydration, we get a lot of diseases. Just letting you know. A lot of autoimmune diseases, right, family? I mean, some of this shit, a lot of this stuff that we're experiencing because one, I'm about to get into the next step, but one, improper breathing, not drinking enough water, real water, not that that shit with chemicals in it. We need to find real sources of water, family, so that we can stay healthy. So one, air, breathing, proper breathing, conscious breathing. Wake up and breathe, right? Not this sleep breathing we be doing. Some of y'all be breathing. Consciously sit down and focus on your breath for at least 5 minutes, please, family. Sex, next, water. Drink half your weight in water in ounces. Let me explain. If you weigh 100 pounds, right? If you weigh 100 pounds, drink 50 ounces of water. If you weigh 300 pounds, drink 150 ounces of water a day to help your body, right? Boom, keep your body hydrated. Next one is eating a culturally appropriate diet. Now this right here, simple as it sounds, is not simple. You need to go on, if you know you are of African descent, there's this thing called the African Heritage Diet. Family, read up on it. It's some serious stuff, right? A lot of us are not eating culturally appropriate foods, so we suffer cultural inappropriate diseases. A lot of diseases we getting are coming from us being culturally inappropriate. What more can I say, right? Add some palm oil to your diet. Add some coconut oil to your diet. Add more leafy greens to your diet. Find out different ways to cook it. Add different type of fish to your diet. You know what I'm saying? And some fresh caught fish, because a lot of this fish that's coming out the stores is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of grains and stuff that we have a cultural relationship with that we need to really start exploring so that we can stay healthy. Last but not least, culturally appropriate movement. Now, I had to throw the culturally appropriate in there because some of us are moving culturally inappropriate. Now, I'm talking about conscious movement as far as exercise and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of taking the elevator, take the steps every now and then. Instead of calling your coworker, walk over to their office. You know what I'm saying? Instead of taking a ride to your car, walk to your car. You know what I'm saying? Just staying physically active, consciously moving. And then also culturally appropriate movement. Are all the movements that you're making culturally appropriate? And I ain't just talking about picking up a glass of water. I'm talking about like some of the conversations that you're having, some of the stuff that you are doing. Is it culturally appropriate? Right? Because when we start aligning ourselves with our culture, we start aligning ourselves with our power, and we start being able to plug into a force of energy that's out there. Our ancestors are waiting for us. Damn, I was supposed to do the toast. I'm sorry. I can't start running my damn mouth. All right, let me see. Is anybody on the line? I know somebody probably on. I don't want to keep people waiting and shit. Just checking the lines right now. Ain't nobody up there right now, so I'm cool. All right. All right. Here go another. Man, this batch of ambrosia made me proud, right? I think I might have figured out how to keep it from totally just blowing out the bottle. Y'all hear that shit? Did y'all hear that? Oh my God. I added a heavier tea. Y'all hear that? Oh man, the ancestors gonna get it today. All right, family. First off, getting First off, calling on the Creator by whatever name you choose to call it Creator. We call that great force, that great power. We lift up our glass and we salute that Creator and we say, Ashe. Excuse me. I hear you with the walk to your car, bro, Hatim. But this weather ain't culturally appropriate. You right about the weather not being culturally appropriate, but if everybody come from us, right, we got to have an inclination for this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because it's like we are the most resilient people in the world. You right, this weather is not culturally appropriate, but you know what else is not culturally appropriate? And y'all gonna get mad at me. Hot showers. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Because like we do have an ability to stand the cold. And as a matter of fact, we need to learn how to operate in the cold, especially those of us that call ourselves awake. Those of us that call ourselves conscious. You know why? Because when they're going to strike us the hardest is going to be during the wintertime. You know why? Because black folks shut down during the wintertime. So we need to learn how to operate in this cold. This cold is nothing to us, right? I mean, really, take a cold shower. After the 5th time of you doing it, ain't going to be shit. My fault. It is going to be, yeah. It's still, yeah. Especially when it hits you right here. You let it sit right here for a minute. You get that ice cream burn. I mean, you can induce that, right? But what cold water and coldness hitting your body does, it forces your body to start burning fat, right? Which is culturally appropriate. A lot of our bodies are swelling up in the way that we're swelling up because we are not giving our body a reason to burn fat. Those cold morning showers, or those when we used to have to take baths before, you know, all the heating up the water, we used to have to use cold water. That used to stimulate us. So you're right. Walking in the cold might not be culturally appropriate, but neither is hot showers all the damn time. Per Ankh is canceled. The weather. I'm committed to just that all 2019. Request to hold me accountable, Brother Hatim. All right. You talking about the 4 pillars of health. I was coming to Prague. Yeah, I was coming to Prague too. I'm never busy, always free. I hear you with the walk to your okay, we talked about that. Well, yeah, I'll try. All right, family, I am getting the text right now. But at certain points of time, it might cut off. So please, I don't want nobody to think that I'm ignoring the messages and stuff like that because I try to read them. But we just toasted up the Creator. Let's get to the stars of the show. We want to toast our fabulous, magnificent, and marvelous ancestors. I was really looking forward to Prague today because we was going to add another ancestor to the list. But me and Elder Tony have already discussed this, and he's going to do what he needs to do as far as ritually, and I will be adding one of our elders to the list who just recently made a transition. I like to give the family an opportunity to decide on whether they want the person on the list, because you know sometimes for people that's not really ready for it, them hearing a person's name every day can be hard for them, right? So sometimes it takes some time for people to adjust, and I want to give people the opportunity to do that, right? So we lift up our glass to our ancestors and we get to the list. Miles Brown, Miss Ann, Robert Texas, Davis, Herman Brown, Senior, Rosalie Tilly, George and William Walton, Christopher Fanny Gaston, Lean, Uncle Chris, Fiend, Cleveland, Geneva, Brown, Margaret, Ellis, Wash, Ellis, Cecil, Ellis, Brown, Gina Gaines, Herman Brown II, Barbara Twiggs, Wash Ellis, Jr., Katie Ellis, Nikki Ellis, Jamon Jones, Jeremiah Tappan, John Fallar, Montague Pittman, No More X, Pet Mount, Rob Malika Fakur, Dr. Marianne Williams, Kojo Kamal, Elder Farmer, Elder Millie Dixon, Tony Clark, Pastor Yusef Weston, Elder Ajani, Elder Ron Coleman, Elder Robert Donaldson, Alfred Brofro, Hector Jr., Jay Edwards, Carlisle Harris, Grace Lundy, Inez Harris, William Bill Moss, Phyllis Rose, Sterling and Lucy Wright, there, Gail Pulliam, the Luxter brothers, Miss Eda Brooks Crawley, Miss Marie Nelson, Mr. Frederick Crawley Sr., Miss Jerry Bunsen, Mr. Alonzo Johnson, Miss Marie McDowell, Janice Foster, Charles Jordan, Kel Smith, Walter Smith, Richard Walter Smith, Richard Triggs, Francis Johnson, Mary Franklin, Jimmy Williams, Daniel Ford, George Gibson, Nana Loretta Clark, Inez McCrae, Fritz Clark, Frankie Justice, Katie Justice, Derek Renderman, Virginia Rogers, Reverend James Smith, Lois Henderson, Calvin Spratling, Mary Elizabeth Walker, Raymond Walker Sr., Sarah Jane Carter, Michael Ford Jr., Kellen D. Russell, Susie B. Smith, Teresa Clay, Melvin Dale Hodge Jr., Herman Copeland, Mildred Copeland, Jenny Clay, Bird Beatty, Sarah Weller, Vita Farmer, Ago Sue, Shell Harvey, Aunt Charmaine, Aunt Evelyn, Theolis Hasbury, Harvey Asbury Sr., Leonard Dickinson, T.C. Islam, Terrell Dunbar, Will Thomas, Sarah Berry, Mark Walsh, Merle B. Thorne, Pearl G. Thorne, Ida Johnson, Florence M. Carter, Joanne Thorne, Patricia Lewis, Juanita Wright, Robert Wright, George Wright, Mary Eliza Frederick Davis, May Elizabeth Rogers, May Esther Keechler Reese, Linda Watson Hammonds, Jarrell Giles Watson, Sparrow, Slimmy, Selvin Lewis, Andrew Holmes, Pearl Moore, Percy Moore Jr., Mildred Owens, Booker T. Bolden, Charlie Hunt, Sammy Stover, Hilda Pearson, Sturgeon Thornton, Richard Thornton, Lavinia Hall, Freeman Banks, Mary Moss, Ophelia Peacock, Willie Thornton, Napoleon Kennedy, Mark Ramsey, Paul Ramsey, Matt Ramsey, David Ramsey, Charles E. Thornton, Frankie Quells, Urania Thornton, Bernice Quells, Ernestine Jackson, Frankie Johnson, Teresa Mormon, Leon Johnson, Charles Bell, Vivian Ramsey, S.C. Johnson, W. Johnson, Leon Johnson, James W. S. Sr., James Parham, Dana Jones, Henry World, James Farmer, Mary Chavez, Leon Grace, Bessie Johnson, Hattie Levester, Mary Moreland, Paul Moreland, Elder Caleb, Rosemary Martineau, Elder Amitep Wellman, Fred Douglas Triggs Sr., Thelma Triggs, Thomas and Lula Berry, Lacey and Ellen Ohio, Frank and Russell and Davis, Fred Douglas Triggs II, Pina Triggs, Reverend Eddie Moore, Helen Fuller, Eugene Jackson Sr., Richard Ellis, Silas Alexander, Charles Maxwell, Percy Alexander, Arthur Reynolds, Stanley Lockhart, Ricky Lockhart, William Lockhart, Woodrow Lockhart, Brenda Porter, Deacon Hargrove, Carla Sawyer, Andrew Parker, Doris Donald, Ellis Murphy, D'Amico Russell, Didi Mon, Aries, Jean and Ruth Jones, Jana Callahan. William Walter West, Nigella Parrish, Elder Basiji Falani, Jim Robinson, Gladys Johnson, Valerie Clark, John and Mary Sullivan, Dirk Johnson, Antonio Johnson, Delise Waters, DeFriedis Hines, Inez Bostic, Edna Bostic, Winifred Scannell, Wilson Headley, Elmer Hines, Phyllis Lee, Eugene Spratling, Calvin Spratling, Charles Wooden, Penny Brown, Roy Lee, Printup Jr., Miriam Johnson, Will Belong, My Ears, Katney, Janice Carter, Michael Carter, Leon Peanut Carter, Margaret Carter, William Carter, Lisa Jordan, Charles Lee Mosley, Dorothy R. Blair, Ransom Evans Sr., Sam Evans Sr., Nalon Blair Sr., Edward Stevens, Sue Ann Stevens, Joe Davis, Timothy Butler, Gene Holmes, Dana Jones, Peter Charles, Christy Nichols, Cardinal Robinson, Rosemary Charles, Ada Pearl, Bob Ingalls, Jack Wallace, Warren M. Finch, Warren P. Finch, Tim Ingalls, Audrey Finch, William Billingsley Jr., Jennifer Sensabaugh, Hazel Gasson, Jerry Brantley, Brian Watson Jr., Kaniko Parsons, Jason Kathy Bradford, Thomas Bradley, also known as Uncle Buki, also known as Gypsy, Reverend Reservoir Word the First, Stacy Trice, Frank Smith, Mother Bertha, Michael Leonard, David Brown, Ruth Carter, June Cox, Ruth Cox, Paula Cox, Ronald Irvin, Judy Hubbard, Irene Johnson, Francis Boots Jefferson, Dan Wilkinson Sr., Emma McClendon, Jerry Dorr, Amina Robinson, Mary Nichols, Patricia Williams, Shabaka Teray, Greg G2 Gibson, Donna Hill, Richard Cleavers, Lee Irby, Tommy Irby, Boy Irby, Jim Gaucher, George and Hallie Johnson, Archie and Margaret Armstead, Diane Scott, Erica Armstrong, Claire Fox, Gene Evans, Archie Beck, Anna McGill, Charles McDaniel, Christine Cottrell, Aunt Becker, Alice Arnold, Arthur Arnold, Hattie Reed, Charles Reed, Eula and Andrew Baker, Patricia and Edwin Brooks, Gwendolyn and Bob Hatch, Kimball Vernon, Bradley Kim, Janie Harry Tubman Cates, Spencer Sturgis, Sally Mae Baker, Ethel Baker, Creola Baker, Geneva Baker, Aaron Nino Baby Hatch, Hatch Sr., Mally Miller, Housie Hatch, Dad Cleveland, Mother Gibson, Alex Nixon, John Bowie, Lester and Rachel Saunders, Doretha Ross, Viola Ross, Robert Nelson, Francis Stevenson, Leroy Stokes, Neely Johnson, Fletcher Swan, Maddie and Charlie Scott, Ida Casey, Thomas Cofer, Vivian Stevenson, Mona Ann Lewis, Cornetta Lyman Lewis, John Jackson, William Dallas Lewis, Mary Francis, Chappelle Jackson, Michael Slade, Joanne Perkins, Richard Jackson, Martha Ford Dawson, Big Mama, Nanny Harris, Eva Ford, James Harrison, Margaret Towns, Mary Williams, Leroy Q. Heap Sr., Albert Moore, Miss Vanilla, Alvis Motley, Geraldine Elizabeth, Douglas Thompson, Erlington Houston, Lud Alls, Elijah Alls, Jerome Alls, Henry West Staten, Joe Jamel Alls, Ann Pierce, Donald Carter, Lily Green, Nathan Green, Bat Vaughn, John Dewey, Ruth Beard, Tim Butler, Ramey, Laura Newton, J.B. Foggy, Thomas Newton Sr., Baba Naeem, Jeanette Sanders, Jerry C. Sanders, Roy Pruitt, H.J. Bradley Sr., Henry Wilson, Rufus Jenkins, Minnie Wilson, Catherine Sanders, Muriel Ellis, Elizabeth Sanders, Henrietta Irby, Mildred Armstead, Margaret Armstead, Catherine Anthony, Ruby Brown, Charles Walker Sr., Charlie Walker, Cecil Russell, Diane Irvin, Haroon Phillips, William Ford, Margaret Logan, Phyllis Barnett, Lee Urban Sr., Michael Urban, Ozella Watson, Hugo Watson, John Caldwell Sr., Robbie Lee Caldwell, Nevaeh Mitchell, Ron McCormick Sr., Sabrina Easley, Rashawn Easley, Javea McCormick, Barbara Ann Reed, Dorothy Ann Reed, John Reed, Shechem Aha Reed Jr., John Reed Jr., Patricia Reed, Edward R. Benson Sr., Ethel H. McNair, Lois Fernandez, Jacqueline Broadus, Reginald Oliver, Mazarine Cooper, George Swan, Imani Grayson, Charles Scott, Charles H. Scott, Michael Morgan, Charlene Morgan, Sybil Edwards McNabb, Annie Ferguson, William Ferguson, Shelby McClendon, and family. We have room for your ancestors. We have a new book, and this one looked like it's going to last, because that last one lasted us almost, it didn't go quite a year, but it was good. But we have room. So if you want your ancestors listed, all you gotta do is inbox me a Gye-Nyame Journey. So you can Gye on Facebook or even on YouTube. Hell, I guess on Periscope, because I might be able to get the messages too. I might get them late, but I'll get them. All right. So here we go. We have Joella Giles. We have James Carswell. We have Liberta Adams. Known to my family as, or known to those in my generation of family as Aunt Sis. I actually didn't know her name until after she passed away, because I had to ask my mom, because the only thing I knew her was Aunt Sis my whole life, right? And you'd be like, wow, they actually had a name. I hope I ain't the only one that felt like that. But family, we lift up our glass and we salute our ancestors. And I'm glad that we have them all together, and like I said, I like to envision them at a great big table, feasting and having a good time. You know what I'm saying? So I lift up our glass for our ancestors that are looking down on us and are counting on us. Because like I said, if, I like mythology. In my mythology, we all come back through our own bloodline. So we're responsible. They're depending on us to make sure that our bloodlines are around so that they can, you know what I'm saying? So that they could be part of it. So they could come back. All right. We got a caller, so I'm going to let them on. I'm almost done with the toast, so I'm going to ask them for some patience. All right, we almost done. Oh, this is Miss Kim. We almost done with the toast. So we lift up our glass for those ancestors, and we say, Ashe. From their family, we move to the present moment. And right now, we are on Imani. I don't have on the Imani shirt. I wanted to get to the show. So we are on Imani. For those that don't know the language, today is the day of faith. It's a harmony. The Imani principle of the day is harmony. The M7, what we teach young people is trust. The color is red. I don't have on any red. I apologize. Gender is the Hermetic law. Male name for the day is Kwesi. Kwesi is your day. Female name is Akashua. I'm trying to get it right. So we lift up our glass and we say Ashe to the present moment, because all our powers in this moment, family. We got to take advantage of this moment. We got to make this moment work for us, and we got to work for this moment to make sure that we're able to lay the foundation for our children. We lift up our glass and you know what we say? We say Ashe. From their family, we move to our future generations. We toast our children, our children's children, onto infinity. We are responsible for the next 7 generations. But family, I'm toasting all the way out to infinity, because I know we have always been and we shall always be. And we call it and we declare it now by shouting out Ashe. From there on, family, we move on and we go to all of our relations and we say Ashe. From there, family, this is your time. This is your libation. What is it that you need in your life? What is it that you want to manifest in your life? Right now is your time. Go and make it happen. All right? Toast you in this moment. Ashe. And last but not least, I toast the most beautiful, powerful, most inspiring individual in the room. You know who that is. Go on, don't look around. Don't be shy. It's you. And we say, Ashe, right? And I got to get my little clicker. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Family, I wish you peace, power, joy, and 100 years. Right? So, right now, so now, family, conversation can commence. Let me go and get my Elder Tony West. All right, the number to call in is 614-556-4535. Once again, the number to call in is 614-556-4535. I'm going to type it in here so that people can get it. 614-556-4535. I know some people are like, well, what's the conversation piece? What's up, Brother Kwame? Whatever you want to talk about. Because I have, what we need to talk about, I believe will pop up during the conversation. So let's go and rapid taste. Let's go hash it out. Let's go and talk about it. I mean, there's so much stuff going on in the world today, so I'll leave it up to you. Let me put the call in number in here, 614-556-4535. Bah! There we go. So we got the call in number on Spreaker. We got the call in number. Let me make sure it's up on Facebook. Call in. Somebody, who is it? How you doing? Can you hear me?
I'm good. Yes.
Who this?
Lady J.
What's up, Lady J? Long time no hear. What's going on?
Not much.
So, it's open subject. We call it Toast and Talk. I am sipping on some ambrosia right now. My health drink of choice. What is your health drink of choice, Lady J?
H2O.
H2O. Okay. That's the best of health drinks. So is there something particular you want to talk about today?
Yes, there is.
Hit it up.
If we don't know where we've been, we have no way of knowing where we are.
Uh-oh. What made you think about that?
I'm grabbing her car seat, putting it in the car, so grab her. I'm sorry?
I said, what made you think about that?
I don't know if y'all want me to go in on this topic, but it was R. Kelly.
I mean, hey, listen, everybody's on R. Kelly shit. I mean, I might as well join them. Might as well. My mind's telling me no. But go ahead, Lady J.
So I am not in no way going to advocate or support or make excuses for this man's behavior, right?
Right.
But I am going to say this. I've read quite a bit of literature. And one thing that I recall, just even from seeing some movies, immediately following slavery and talking about, and even though a little bit of my family history that I know, I know that it was not uncommon for young girls to marry older men and be married off to them by.
Ooh, Lady J, you bringing it today, cause cause listen. So now Lady J is bringing up some because I think one of the things that and correct me if I'm wrong, one of the things that Lady J might be kicking back on is the fact that a lot of people want to just focus on this as it's just an R. Kelly problem, rather than a community problem, rather than a black folk problem.
No. Yeah, but this is the thing. During our past, We have experienced, you have the key to the lock door? We have experienced times with the highest marriage rate and the lowest. Yep. Hello?
I'm here. I'm listening.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking about I'm thinking about the fact that when we did this historically, I'm thinking about a book that I read. And like I said, I know that this is true for my family as well. The young lady comes of age, right?
Uh-huh.
She was being raised by her grandmother. And this book is, I'll tell you the name of it in a minute, but it's a classic. And so she's being raised by her grandmother. The minute she comes of age, grandmother really can no longer provide for her. So what grandmother does is grandmother goes and finds her a husband, and she marries her off, right?
Right.
Let's see if it's in the back. The daughter doesn't know that the daughter doesn't necessarily know her husband, but I remember the grandma is like, you know, he has a farm, he has 3 mules, he has 12 chickens, you know, he's going to be able to
take care of you,
to care for you.
Right.
And I can no longer care for you, right? So she marries the man, and she ends up divorcing him, and she marries like several, I want to say it was their eyes were watching God. Their eyes were watching God. And so, and that's one of my favorite tales. But anyway, it was not, it was customary. You know what I'm saying? And no, should be okay. That's just kind of how it happened. But like the marriages lasted longer because it wasn't like they married for love. You know what I'm saying? You married because it was what you were supposed to do. We didn't want any bastard children. And then you grew to love, and that's why your marriage stayed longer. Instead of cohabitating, living the kind of some of the practices that we have now that contribute to our marriages not lasting as long, right? And a whole lot of bastard children. And so, one thing, there were 2 things that stood out to me. The first thing was all this talk about men and younger women just reminded me of our history. And that historically, that is what happened in the community. And though it may have not been, you know, this idea that once you become a woman, you know, you come of age, this is what happens. Though it may not make sense to us now, it makes sense back then. And it helped stabilize our community. It helped stabilize our community. It helped have families. We had families in our communities. The second thing was, which is why I'm happy that this documentary did air, because there's things that we never talk about in our community. And one of those would be, it's like taboo, right? We know it happens, but we don't talk about it. And it's this whole molestation with males, boys being touched. Right? Mm-hmm. So we're gonna still focus on R. Kelly and his I don't know what to call it, but we're gonna focus on him. But really, our conversation in our community should be centered around some of that abuse that he and his brother discussed, right? And not just abuse of males, but abuse within families, kids, the abuse that takes place in families, incest, things of that sort. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about, we will shame and talk about how sick and twisted white folks are, which they are in many aspects, but we will not discuss some of those taboos and some of those things about our families that are just not right. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I appreciate, I haven't watched the documentary, I'm not going to lie.
I haven't watched it either. I'm not going to watch it.
I ain't watched it either. From the commentary, those were some of the things I thought about. I just thought about we're judging what this man is doing, but really, if we knew our history, we know that historically this is what we did. And I'm not justifying his actions, but I'm just saying the way that we're frowning upon it, we don't understand that was something that kept our community stable in the past. with this idea. I mean, with how they married off their young children.
Now,
and it's sad to say it, but it was.
No, but not. But now, what you're saying is married them off. What we saw was tricking them off here because there was no marriage. I mean, now the Aaliyah piece, because I'm not even clear on this whole Aaliyah piece, right? But what we see is basically people whoring their children off. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's not what our ancestors practiced. It's like giving you...
No. And that's why I said I don't want to say that that's what he did, because it's not.
Right.
But what I'm saying is a lot of people are frowning their noses about this idea of older men with younger girls. And I'm saying that piece has been there.
Have been there and has... Right. Go ahead. Because, I mean, y'all... women will be able to speak... Because y'all women, y'all be able to speak on that more than somebody else.
I think it goes both ways. But I remember being in high school, and a lot of us had boyfriends in college. Once we were like juniors and seniors, we had boyfriends in college. So I think when a person is in their 20s, especially with men, according to the science, they don't mature as fast as females do. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't uncommon for us to be 17, and our boyfriend be in college, 16, and our boyfriend might be in college. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I was not. I had a boyfriend that was 19 or 20. I was 16. Then when I was 17, I had a boyfriend that went to, I think he was his second year in Central State.
You know what they call that? You know what they call it, Navita? They don't use this term that much no more. I ain't heard this one in a long. You was fast.
May, December.
You was fast.
No, that's how fast. But the difference between what we were doing,
because we were more mature at that age than most boys. So we had boyfriends in college. It was common. No one even looked down on it.
Nobody even looked down on it.
But I think one of the differences is that R. Kelly, we could, there's a difference between being a predator, you see what I'm saying, and preying in order to manipulate or take advantage, but that still takes place today too.
Oh, shit, we know
the thing with the R. Kelly piece, do we know that he's a predator outside of the Aaliyah thing? How do we know this? Because we don't have any proof other than what people have said. And the videotape, I don't know why, for the life of me, people act like this VHS tape was so clear. I remember that tape being so grainy, they were trying to debate if it was him or his brother.
No. But Navita, let me say in all honesty. Now, I didn't see a grainy one, right?
That shit was grainy.
But hold on, let me say this. We
all had the same tape.
But hold on. I'm gonna just say this. I mean, it's like 9 million motherfuckers can't be wrong. I guess they could because...
Yes, they can, because we had half of the country that was wrong. If that black people had 3/5 of a human being.
Oh, goddamn, she went back to
numbers don't equal correctness.
You right.
At all.
You right.
But that's
and the thing about it is with the tape also... Because I'm going to say this about the tape also, because I took it to work and showed it to everyone. If you look at the court documents regarding the tape, the reason, because the girl said that it wasn't her. So they produced this tape to prove it wasn't her, that it was her, in the tape, and she was underage, but they couldn't convict him because the tape was so damn grainy that they couldn't make out if it was her.
I thought the family stopped the charges. I thought the family dropped the charges.
They had to drop the charges because the family, they wanted to try to pick it up without the family because they said it wasn't her. So they tried to do it with just using the tape. I just read this recently. And so on the tape was so grainy, though, that they couldn't convict him on the tape because the family's testimony, they was like, it ain't even her. They didn't want nothing to do with it. So he could have paid them off or something. Or it could have been her. I don't know. But I remember the tape. And I'm not going to say... That tape was grainy as shit. I remember it. I took it to work. I called everybody over. We went to the building. We popped that sucker in, and let me tell you, I watched it with a bunch of Yodis at the time. And them white folks didn't know who R. Kelly was really, and none of this. They heard about it, but they wasn't really, fans. They was white folks.
Now,
and they looked at that tape. They couldn't run. They was like, "This is blurry." I remember the conversations we had.
you had a cheap tape.
But,
I'm just
okay, but I don't know if he did. I mean, the Aaliyah thing we know about.
Right. No. See, but I'm not even. As far as that piece, I'm not really clear on the extent of that relationship. See, because like you said, a lot of this is secondhand. Now, my issue is
he married the girl. He married the girl.
Is a legal fact? Is that a legal fact?
I believe so. I believe he married the girl.
Wait, hold on. Now I got a question.
Yeah, I think he did, but like you said, I just went by what I've heard everybody else say that he did marry her. But to be honest with you, I never looked it up.
And I never cared.
Didn't they say that they got it ignored a year later?
I don't know if they got it.
I remember hearing that.
The Leah piece is a little bit different because at least he did marry her, right?
I say no. I'm taking my say back.
I'm just saying he married her. That's a little bit different than the predatory behavior. Now she was young. I don't know how much younger she was than him, but was she of legal age?
Let me tell y'all 15. He was 27, but Marvin Gaye was 33 and Janice was 15.
Who?
Now he claimed
I don't want to tell y'all how old my mama and daddy was. I don't want to tell you how old my mama and daddy was. She was definitely not 18, and he was definitely in his 30s.
God damn.
She was 18. I take that back. She was 18, and he was in his 30s.
Oh, 18? She was legal.
And until I said 8. Well, she was already with him first. She turned 18. I just came along at 18. I just came along with 18, but I will say they was together from then up until she died at 32.
Listen, and brother Kwame say you got to care enough to verify what we are saying, because because now we got to be honest. Is anybody in this conversation really caring enough about R. Kelly? Because I honestly believe that the discussion that we need to be having need to be leaning a little bit more towards what Lady J hit on was the fact that we have these type of behaviors going on in our community, but yet we refuse to have these family discussions and really deal with some of these individuals that have problems. You know what I'm saying?
So let me say this, Tim. This is the other thing that I thought of while this discussion is going on. Chris Stokes, we know them boys came out and said that he was having sex with them, and they also talked about how their parents were whoring them out. How they were telling their parents they didn't want to go to this man's house. How their parents have been promised so much money, so much fame.
Who is this?
These kids were basically
who is this?
B2K.
Oh yeah, I remember. They played them kids so bad.
All of them. And we know that he was preying on them boys and having sex and molesting and raping. But that's what I said. When it comes to boys, we don't look at that shit. Why won't we have the conversation? Nobody wants to have the conversation when someone is raping and molesting boys.
Africa Bambaataa.
Oh shit. Oh, there's a whole shit. And he got
Africa Bambaataa straight up.
So oh, but wait, we got somebody on a 260 number. Who is this? And we also got Sister Tiandre on the line. Who's calling from 260?
Sister Shelly I.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Africa Bambaataa. Nobody. But now, when it comes to boys, there's a whole different process in how our minds look at it and treats it, because we don't want to take that shit seriously. And then it comes, they're not really victims.
But then, but then we'll take these girls who we just said, and I'm just being honest. We will take girls who don't look their age, that are interested, that are positioning themselves for men that are older.
Right.
And we'll call them victims.
Right.
We'll call them victims. Women who are willingly participating, because my understanding, none of these women were forced. They were willingly participating.
Right.
Well, I think the women in the house were of age. I don't know the story. I don't know. I think the women in the house were of age. The women in this house are not in question of being underage, I thought. But I don't know, because I ain't seen the documentary. But
I don't even care about.
When I heard it on the
I'm
news.
not.
That's what it was.
I'm not interested enough in it because one, what's going to happen with the R. Kelly piece, and we're going to get back to the boys, is that if they investigate this is going to open up a whole can of worms. It's going to have a whole nut. It's going to ripple throughout communities because not only because R. Kelly is now going to jail by his goddamn self. Because I'm telling you right now, as even though he can't read, he can hold some goddamn receipts. I know he got receipts, and all those people that was receiving payments, all those people that was receiving payments, need to go with him. Period. Because this is going to raise. Now, the only thing I'm grateful about that this thing is raising the conversation about some of the predatory behaviors that we may be having going on in our community so that we can start really dealing with it. And you brought up an excellent point by how, it's just how we shrug off the fact that we have boys.
Well, I think when it's boy on boy, male on male crime, or, a violation, and a lot of young men don't want to come forward about their male-on-male abuse because they find so much shame associated with it. Because in our community, it used to be anyway, predominantly, your manhood has been taken. Women will look at you differently.
Right.
So when it's man-on-man abuse, a lot of times the victim
won't even say nothing.
Doesn't even want to come forward, even more than the female victim. It's a lot more of a stigma.
It's a bigger stigma
with males.
What about family?
Well, hold on.
What about this family thing? We won't talk about incest. We won't talk about incest. We'll talk about white folks and incest, but we won't talk about how rampant it is. I got two first cousins. They share the same great grandmama, and pretty soon, if I'm not mistaken, this girl's gonna have a baby. And they've been in a whole relationship for many years. And my family, I cannot understand how we go. Now, I don't attend no family functions, but how do they attend family functions knowing that these two people are first cousins? That's nasty.
But hold on.
And that's been going on in my family forever. Forever. Nobody talks about it.
Now, let me say this.
And not just my family.
You're right.
Hold on. Can we get back to the boy
right, because I want to get back to the male piece because that's a whole nother can of worms. Because think about this. We're not talking about the boys who don't speak. How do we treat the white?
Nobody talks about it.
Wait, no. But hold on. Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Somebody else.
I was going to say, Sister Levita, the reason why I brought that up is because the brother went on, I seen on Facebook where the brother went on the show, and when they talked about who abused him, it was the sister. It was the sister abusing him, and that's why I say that these things kind of happen in our community too, not just the boy on boy, but also the family, where these kids are not being supervised, and children are experimenting with each other, and later it leads to other things. Like I said, like incest. And so that's why I was bringing that up, because when he was talking about the molestation, if I'm not mistaken, they were saying the sister was the one in molested.
Yeah, I got you. I understood that.
Now.
I got you, sis.
But what I want... but go ahead, Shelly. Go ahead, Shelly.
I'm going to use this term for lack of a better term. In terms of experience, I feel that... Are you there?
We're here. We back up on Facebook. Facebook dropped for a second.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was looking at. Okay. So in terms of personal experience, I think that it's natural for a woman in that case to cater to the emotional distresses, emotional triggers, and emotional healing from that perspective because of all of the dynamics involved in that personal experience. So I think that's one thing that happens. I think on the other end, from the experience of actually working with boys and young men, as well as being raised with only brothers and only having sons, there's a certain perspective of honor and respect that I have in terms of boys and young men and the experience that they have. So I think it's very honest for the sister to bring up, and Navita and you, Brother Hatem, to talk about the dynamics that are transpiring with our boys and young men. I think one of the things that happens is that we have not, within our community, talked about it enough, as the sister said, but I also think that we haven't designated within our community those of us that have a personal experience that we've overcome, and that there are dynamics and gifts that people who have had that kind of experience, some of them may have, where they are looking at certain characteristics in people within the community and can pick it out with a fine-tooth comb. The problem is that if people don't have evidence, so now we go back to the Caucasoids way of doing things. If people don't have evidence, they're not going to pay any attention to it in its full integrity. However, and that's understandable. I want to say that across the board, too. It's very understandable. We're really toggling between two worlds. We're toggling between an ancient world, with which, as the sister was talking about to bring the conversation up to begin with, there's a whole dynamic of history and tradition within our genetics, and that we may not be always realizing that some of our people on some level could be subscribing to. Yet and still, there's another world with which another foot is in, or the other foot is in, where we're dealing with this whole Caucasian and European mindset in terms of the legalism and there's a whole nother dynamic. But if we take everything and say it's African, so it's the best thing, everything African is not good. We made mistakes, which is part of the reason why we're in this situation in the first place. We made some mistakes, and so in terms of moving beyond that, we have an obligation to look at what our history is, what the tradition is. We have an obligation to look at what we're doing today, where one foot is in our Africanness and one foot is in in this European society mindset, and we have an obligation to begin to dissect the truths from out of that, which bring our common day existence, where we can move into the future, not only with a premises of structure, but an honesty of integrity that we can not only display or exude, but we can also expect out of our young people. But we need that structure, and I think this conversation is capital. Maybe that's the wrong word. This conversation is imperative because I think it brings about the opportunity for us to segue some aspects of what we've been dealing with that are unhealthy. Put it on, if we had a mind map, say we had a physical mind map, and say somebody built a physical mind map and they say, okay, this circle is over here and this has our history and what we did in our history and all the branches around it. And we have another circle and this is where we are today. And we have a whole bunch of arms that go to different things that we're experiencing here now. And then we have for the future, prospectively, what we'd like to see happen. And I think when we start to deal with that, we're dealing with the structure of things. We can see it smack dab in front of us. And I think a forum we need to commit to having a forum where Lady J, Sister Navita, Brother Hatem, and all of the community can become a part of the dynamics of discussion that will change the pattern of what we've been dealing with. We can discuss and agree or disagree on what we don't want to do any longer, what we want to do going forward, and how we want to deal with the mishaps in our community with some of these predators that are actually lurking on children,
now, also,
boys and girls.
Mm-hmm. Now, because y'all already, one of the things, because now, once again, because we got predators, male, female, we got a lot of this going on. And one of the things that we have to, like you said, we have to have the discussion to start really, like, what's the code? so that we all can, because we all might not agree with it. You might have different people that want to do different things and they need to break off. But this is one of the reasons I keep on saying we need to circle our wagons, because what's going on now is that we have all these. I remember, and not to take it too far away from this, I remember people got mad at Jay-Z because Jay-Z wore, and I say this all the time, Jay-Z wore a t-shirt with an Aleister Crowley saying on it, said, "Do as thou wilt." And people like Jay-Z is worshiping the devil and blah, blah, blah. But one of the things that I notice about our people is that we are the most do as thou wilt people on the face of this goddamn planet. I'm grown, you can't tell me nothing. I can do what I want. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the bag. A lot of the behaviors that we exhibit in our community and that we program into our children are all selfish. It's all about me. So if it's all about me, then it's all about how I feel. It don't matter who has to hurt for me to feel good. That means I have to get somebody super young for me to feel good. Then it's okay. And we okay that shit.
Or somebody super old. Or somebody super old.
Well, I mean, yeah. If you talking about abusing them.
Because my girlfriend, I believe that she preys on old men, takes advantage of them, does a whole lot of things, and so it goes the same. And I'm talking about old men.
I mean, when you say old men, are they decrepit, or did she meet them at the club?
They older than you. They older than you.
What the hell does older than me mean?
He wants something from her. She wants something.
Right,
that's what I call a fair exchange.
Fair exchange is not robbery.
He wants to get there young,
fair
and
exchange
he
is not
wants
robbery.
that money. He knows she don't want him because he's hot.
You know what I'm saying?
You know,
I mean,
we're willing to do that in exchange.
If you grown,
fair exchange ain't no robbery.
There ain't no robbery.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But what I mean, but somebody.
Funny, there's a big difference between adult people.
Right.
Yeah, y'all comical though.
No, but but we got to make, because this is a heavy subject, because family, listen, man, people wonder why I have so many adopted daughters. You know what I'm saying? And they be uncomfortable about this shit. I mean, I done had relationships fall to the wayside because motherfuckers couldn't believe that I got all these adopted daughters, but then because these young ladies was looking for some place where they could be safe. Or at least some grown man in their life outside of their dad where they could be safe. And it took me years to really realize that shit. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I was totally oblivious. I asked one of my daughters, I said, "Why you walking around here like you got the world on your shoulders?" And then she broke that shit down to me. I was like, "God damn, you do got the world on your shoulders. Baby, I am sorry." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's like, I mean, it's like, it's so predatory and everything is okay. And in our own way, we're worshiping the very thing that we say that everybody else is worshiping.
That's right. Come on.
Right, yeah.
We don't want to say it, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you like this, as black folks, because I challenge, because when people be like, we the most spiritual and the most, you know what I'm saying, I always challenge that shit, because I be like, listen, most black folks are closet atheists. They go to church because they trying to pay an insurance policy to get into heaven. That's it. Because if we really operated as if we thought somebody was watching us all the goddamn time, which we say God can do, we wouldn't do half the shit we do.
That's why I say that all the time, because you already know how I feel about the God concept. But, you know, a lot of people, Christian people, I would say they don't believe that shit, because if they really believe God could come back at any minute, they would be careful when we fucking.
What's the God complex?
The God concept.
The God
concept. Yeah, I don't subscribe to the God concept, so,
but what about the God complex? What if I think that I'm a God?
It depends on what aspect you think of. If you think of, when I think of the word God, I think of it from its origin and what it was intended for and what it means. And I think if a person can think they're a God, but I think people have redefined the word God because they don't want to say it doesn't exist. So they'll say things like
they don't want that.
They don't want to say that it doesn't exist. So they would rather redefine the word God to make it mean like I am a God, because God means creator. But that was not the origin of the word God, nor what it meant. It was specifically regarding a deity and that ruled over everything and was capable of doing anything and was omnipotent, omnipresent, ... That controlled over this whole world and the universe and what we did. That was what a God was. And they did some type of influencing over this world as far as like in a magical, mystical way. And I just think that I don't think that's even possible, and I think everything we do is based on what we do here, not necessarily a magical thing that in the sky that's conducting these things. So that's what God means to me in its origin of how people looked at God. And like Elder Ajani used to say, we didn't even use that term, so we need to get away from it. So,
girl, don't be quoting Ajani now, because we.
So some people may have a God complex, I guess, but I guess it depends on how they identify the word God, because people have so redefined this word anymore. It means so many things than what I was used to it meaning when I was coming up.
Let me make an announcement real quick. All those that's listening on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, the signal dropped off because I pushed something wrong, so we restarted now. So I may have missed some of your comments, but I want to make sure I get everybody.
Can you see my comments from YouTube when I comment?
I seen something. I remember I responded. I said I seen it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
but that was
when I called on the phone. I haven't been back on YouTube since I've been on the phone.
That's a different stream now.
Are you back on Facebook too?
We back. I'm back on Facebook, but you can't go back. It'll pop up. It's at the top of the timeline right now. You know what I'm saying? Because it totally fell off. And like I said, make sure y'all like and share, family, so we can spread the. Okay, Brother Kwame is up. Mosaic distinction of God concept different from Neter or even how applied to Greek, Norse, Indian, or others. Because the concept that a lot of us argue over is not the ancient concept; it's the more modern concept of Western religion. This is the concept that we, you know what I'm saying, because they, they pimped out everything, you know what I'm saying, and it's cool. It's cool. We just got to figure out who we are, where we are, when we are, and start applying that shit. It's very simple. Because this whole discussion is about some of the deviations that have allowed that we have allowed to happen because we have, in a sense, lost an honor code amongst us. There's certain things that we should not be doing amongst us.
Listen, I had this conversation this morning. This is something that's been. I was wondering if I should share this with somebody, but I didn't know how people would take it. But I'm gonna share it with y'all. Y'all tell me what you think. Okay, so and this is I guess I don't know if you want to say an epiphany or as in me studying. I might have been doing something 6 months ago, and then all of a sudden I see something wrong with it today, and I don't do it anymore. So with that being said, I think our whole sexual concept, our whole concept of sex is from a European standpoint for most of us. Yeah. I think that if we really go back, like the Jill Scott thing, I didn't like the Jill Scott thing with the microphone and everything. And I had people saying there's nothing wrong with it, blah, blah. And there would have been a time when I would have been like, she grown. She could do what she want to do. That don't mean that their kids don't need to watch it. That would have been me. But as I studied the history of our own sexuality within the United States, and you was raised by your grandparents, my great-grandparents was around. Now, for people who did things like she did, that was not looked at, that was not common, it was not praised. You had a few people that may have been doing it, but it was not common and praised. And if it was your daughter or somebody else that was doing it, it was really unacceptable. When you go back and look at porn, there was a time when you could not find black pornography. It didn't exist in this country at one time. Okay? Yep. And then we started being around them and always say integration, assimilation, stimulation, and we started doing things like, now we got our porn coming out. You start seeing black porn. You started seeing naked women in the blaxploitation films that was coming out. You know, there was a time when we looked at that type of shit. For a woman to show her titties on TV, we thought that was some shit. That was some disrespectful shit. And then time progressed with the feminist movement, and then we had the whole "I am woman, hear me roar," and a woman can be just as she. Why does she have to hold her sexual desires just because she ain't a man? A woman should be able to express herself sexually, just like a man should be able to express herself sexually. Women shouldn't hold back. That was all part of the whole feminist movement, and women of color, in my opinion, they jumped right on that board. Then you started seeing black women sleeping around like it wasn't. Well, I'm a woman and I got needs, and no discipline about their sexuality.
Wait, hold on. You left the part out of there. You left the part out of there. Not only do I have needs, but then also throw in the bag thing, because this goes back to Lady J's major point whenever she called in the show, even if we arguing. But her major point is that there has been a propaganda campaign that I could trace back at least 1,000 years. That has been against
me. That's true. Even not only that, but the feminist movement, in my opinion, I remember being a young lady, and it was like, the Mary Tyler Moore shit, and I just remember a thing with the women really busting out of this, like, I'm busting out on the serious joint. I mean, they was busting loose. There we go. They was busting loose in ways I never seen women bust loose before.
Well, it happened before. I'm going to let you know.
Coming on board, and for a short period, I did it with my mother, and she was impressed by this shit. My mom was impressed by this whole freedom that a woman can do what she want to do. She can flang her crotch from here and back if that's what she feel like doing. Okay, so I just see this progression, and then it comes to the low cut shirts. If you got it, baby, flaunt it. And I was a victim of that. And honey, if I had it, I was supposed to flaunt this shoe. So I would go around with my low cut shirts and this and that, and then demand a certain amount of respect when I was dressed. Like, in my opinion, this is just me, like a whore. You know what I'm saying? So then I kept, and I was like, well, where did I get that was even hot? But then I was a fan of all this. Everything we watched on TV other than Good Times at one time was white folks. You know what I'm saying? And you start watching Dallas and all that other shit your parents may have been watching, E-Hall and shit. You know, motherfuckers got on Daisy Dukes and low-cut shirts, and the boys like that.
Yeah,
and so I grew up, I used to call myself the Black Barbie, honey. I was skinny in the waist, big booty, long, fake blonde hair, caressing down my back, And then I think that we adapted, it was normal. That's normal to us now.
What you talking about?
We don't see nothing wrong with that.
What you talking about is accepting culturally.
It's Kim. I've been in and out. I don't, because of my Wi-Fi. Sometimes it goes out.
Hey, Kim.
Yeah, that's why I'm constantly calling back. It's just how it is. But yeah, I'm just listening in and hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello,
Kim?
We can hear you. Keep going.
Can you hear me?
We about to lose
yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Hello?
I think we about to lose her again.
Kim. Can y'all hear me?
Can I say something while we're waiting on her to call back in?
Yeah, but can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, sis. That's all I have to say about this. So our sexuality, we got to get it together on our view of sex.
One thing that I remember when I started studying the Great Migration, and I talked about it like sometimes on the show about W.E.B. Du Bois and some of the literature that he put out as our family started migrating north, right? Some of those customs and some of those traditions.
Oh shit! Man, family, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to get the. All right, hold on. Everybody that's there, call back in. Hopefully the conversation's still going. I clicked off. I'm trying to fix it so Kim can get back on. I dropped the lines. We having a powerful conversation. Call back in. Oh, they still on. Thank God. All right. Well, hold on. Let me get back on. All right. All right. Well, let me in. I've been kicked out of my own shit. Hang up. I'm going to hang up and call back in. All right, family. So, I'm going to sing a song for you while we waiting. I'm just joking. All right, let's get back on. So, Sister Kim is back up. Hopefully she is talking. Check 1, check 2. Make sure my mic is working. Oh, what's going on with my mic? What's going on? Check 1, check 2. Mike, why you tripping, Mike? All right, family, hold on. We got to try it again. Let's try it again. Check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2. All right. Check 1, check 2. My mic is not working. My mic ain't sounding nice. What's going on? Default. Let's try that. Check 1, check 2. That's not working. What's going on with my mic? It's sabotaging. That's what it is. All right, cool. What I'm going to do is I am going to exit. Now watch this, family. Now, so we could practice problem solving. They are still having conversation. And now, this is the good part. For anybody that wants to catch the conversation that they're having right now, I am recording this right now on Uber conference. So those that want it, I could go on and give you that full conversation. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to go out from there. They still are able to talk, but they don't know. So anybody that's on the line with them right now, tell them to hold on to Brother Hatim, come back in, or somebody call in 614-556-4535 and let them know that I'm offline temporarily. Right now, I'm about to go back up because we're having a real good and powerful conversation. You know what I'm saying? It all started with this whole, my mind's telling me no, right? But y'all know how it go. So let's check 1, 2, check 1, 2. My mic is still not working. All right, I can hear. So I'm going to put it so that we can hear. Check 1, check 2. So that at least y'all can hear what's going on.
This conference is being recorded by the organizer. Oh, I don't hear him.
Check 1. I'm back on. Can you hear me? We can't hear from your microphone. Click here to troubleshoot. I'm back up, family. I'm back up. And the rest of the community can hear y'all, so keep on talking. Somebody check on.
Can you hear Hatim?
No, y'all can't hear me right now. Yes, ma'am. Y'all can't hear me. Hold on. Choose audio device. My mic is acting up. Check 1, check 2. I don't know what's going on. Something happened.
Okay, go ahead, Sister Kim.
I can.
Check 1, check 2.
You guys, so I can't hear him.
Check 1.
Yeah, so I'm.
Check 1, check 2.
Kids came in with a baby.
Check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2. Hold on. What happened? I can't hear y'all.
I'm going to hang up and try to call back.
Check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2. Y'all, Uber conference, you can't be doing this shit to me, man. So we're going to leave the whole thing. We're going to try again. We hear you. Y'all hear me because I'm coming through a different mic. I'm coming through my phone mic. They can't hear me because I'm coming through the mic on my, which might be the reason. So you got to identify the mic. I can hear y'all now. Next time y'all come back up, when y'all come back up, make sure that you understand that even if I can't hear you or you can't hear me, right? I'm trying to make it so that the family can hear your conversation because that's important. So let me go on back up. We're going to go back up. Let me see. Maybe if I go from a different angle, let's try from here. Something's going on with my mic, and I don't understand what's going on. Check 1, check 2, check 1, check 2, check 1, check 1, check 2. All right, loading Uber conference. Let's see how I go. Check 1, check 2, check 1, check 2, check 1, check 1, check 1, check 2. Okay, cool. We back up. All right. Woo. All right, family. So we got
this call is being recorded.
We gotta wait for the sisters to gather and shit. I'm sorry. This is Sister Shelly. You back up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Cool.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? I can hear you. All right.
This is Shelly I.
Right, we waiting for everybody else to call back in. I don't know. My mic totally. I don't know. I'm not gonna complain because it could be worse. You know what I'm saying? But and we had other people calling in, so we waiting for them to call back in. Anybody out there?
Okay.
The lines are open at 614-260-7150. Once again, it's a toast and discuss where we had the opportunity to go on and share some more thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Not along the lines of anybody's agenda. The conversation goes where the conversation goes. So right now we're talking about some possibly establishing some code in the community. And right now my line just dropped me again. I don't understand how I'm the organizer of the thing and it's dropping me. All right, so Sister Kim.
This conference is being recorded by the organizer.
I can hear you. I just came back.
Cool.
Okay, I can hear now.
So go ahead.
Kim, you on the line? This is Shelly I.
I'm back.
Hey.
So go ahead.
You back? Good.
Sister Kim.
Hey.
Sister Kim, you was trying to say something earlier. I don't know if you had a chance to say it, but if you did, you might have to say it again because I don't know if the family out in the world was able to hear your comments.
Yeah, hopefully my internet will last long enough for you to hear my comments. It's a bad Wi-Fi day for me. But anyway, what I was saying is that I see us as a people, we are marginalized, almost we are created through white supremacy, brought from Africa. You know, we were tribes in Africa. You know, we left Africa before there were nations. So there was no nationhood when we left Africa.
That's true.
We went to America and became a people through our bondage, through white supremacy. And as a result of that, we're almost kind of like perpetual victims in a sense for years. We're perpetual victims in different forms. And so we're going to be heavily impacted by negative things in the society. And those negative things could be manifest themselves sexual abuse, manifest themselves
This
in
conference
other
is being
things.
recorded
That's
by the
how I
organizer.
see us.
Hold on, time out. Oh, I know what happened. I'm still here. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's how I see us. And I think that, you know, we have pockets in our community who are able to fend off this stuff. But as a whole, you know, we have moments in our community when we're really strong and things don't really impact us as much. But we have times when we're really weak. And, you know, that's when we have a lot of drug abuse, sexual abuse, all these things, you know, really impact us. So I think it's just like a constant battle that we have, primarily because of who we are and where we are.
Right. And understanding that because
I don't want to seem negative. Because it's not like doom and gloom. But
no,
that's just how I see it.
Yeah, it's reality. It's reality, sis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you said. That was realistic. That
check
is
one.
really what we're looking
check
at.
Check 2, check 1, check 2.
That's how I
This is getting ridiculous, family.
This conference is being recorded by the organizer.
You have like Aborigines in Australia, and you have some other indigenous groups who are, dealing with extreme white supremacy, and they really don't impact the world like we have. And so I just think, even though we've been dealing with this for hundreds of years, look what we've still managed to accomplish.
Oh, man.
True.
Resilience.
True.
We are very resilient people. And I mean, and actually, we are in a position that no other people possibly in history have been in. We were totally removed from where we are to a whole new place.
Yep.
So we could create a whole new mythology, a whole new code. I mean, it's like we are at a first people stage. You know what I'm saying? And when I mean first people stage, we are at a place where we are able to create the mythology for what we are right now. And this is what a lot of people don't understand, because it's like, boom, because, one of the reasons that, because like with you, Sister Kim, because sometimes people be like, Brother Hatim, you talking about a lot of doom and gloom. No, what I honestly believe is, in the laws of Maya, one of the key pieces I constantly bring is that I could never solve the problem if I don't look at the reality. If I'm looking at the illusion of the problem, I'm always going to get knocked out. If I go for the fakes, I'm always going to get knocked out. So I'm trying to get my people to be like, look, let's look at where we are, when we are, and where we are, so that we can overcome. Because a lot of the stuff that's going on with us is the fact that we don't really know where we are. We don't really know who we are. We don't know, we're totally outside all that. And all that stuff has been defined for us by others. And because others have defined it for us, they are benefiting from our dysfunction.
True.
They do benefit. And I'm going to add something else. Who else benefits from our dysfunction? I love Africa. I live in Africa. But I'm going to say something. Africa is the only continent in the world that sold its people to build up another man's land.
Hello.
That's the only in the world. So, and the descendants of the people who sold its people are still here. Okay? So they have that lineage, just like we have our lineage, they have that lineage.
And a lot of us, a lot
what
of us
I'm saying is,
now I was gonna say a lot of people don't want to deal with that, Sister Kim, but go ahead.
They don't.
They don't.
Yep. That's, I love Africa, but that's the reality.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with. And if we are looking to uplift, we need to think about who we looking to partner with. That's all I'm saying.
I know Africa is flawed, just like this.
Wait, time out.
For me, I know.
Navita.
This is me.
Navita, how in the world could you come on? You ain't been on for a second.
I've been listening. I've been listening. Trying to give you time to get your shit together with all the.
I'm just like, we just roll right in. I'm like, it takes me a second.
Now that you got it back popping, but I wanted to say with the Africa thing, this is just for me and some of the people, excuse me, in my circle. Africa is not void of corruption. It's not void of coons, because they got plenty of them there. It's not void of wanting to be Americanized or anything. It's not void of those things. So if you leave to go there, you can't go there. I wouldn't go there with the expectation of having this so-called kumbaya super unity moment, even though I do have people who I know who live there who they feel like that's their experience. You know what I'm saying? Even Wasima, and you know how like that is. I've heard of some issues with complexions, but overall, she still, she said they made her feel welcome. in Ghana when she lived there.
Oh.
So, my thing is, I want to leave the States just off of the mass incarceration piece alone. I think, for me, that's one of the biggest things that is plaguing our community, with us supposedly being 13% and over 70% of the mass people incarcerated. We have an imbalance in our community of available men because of mass incarceration. Our people are being lynched daily by a pen and a pencil in a courtroom every day. And that is why I want to leave this country. That's my only reason.
Can I say, but what I said was in context of know your past, know who you're dealing with. It's in that context. It's not in the context of if something is good or bad, go or don't go, but know what you're dealing with. We are in America.
Right.
We also need to know who our situation on a global scale. That's what I would say. Is the only continent in the world that sold its people to build up somebody else's land.
And I mean,
Asia didn't do that. I'm
You
not
think
saying it's good or bad.
it's rough. And listen, because one of the things that, like, for example, man, Tone Talks and Yvette Cornell, because it's a whole lot. Not only is a whole bunch of white folks over here that still got wealth, and then you a lot of people that need their ass kicked. And then also, we also got to start dealing with some of our African brothers and sisters and their attitudes when it's some of them that don't feel they need to deal with us, and we need to go on and check every last one of them, because we need to let people know. You know what I'm saying? So, dude, I can help you. I can help you where you are if you are able to humble yourself and at least take the lessons that my dean does. We a different species, and we don't want to accept that shit.
Come on.
Because really, in the fiery womb of America and the oppression, generation after generation, being
Yes.
with a certain type of the African heritage, we have to understand, so that when we dealing with people, you've been to the continent, you have not really even real Africans. You look at their pedigree. A motherfucker that's been educated at the Sorbonne, or a motherfucker that's been educated and been able to travel, this mean that they work. Because family, let me tell you right now.
I assume, I don't even ask. I assume it came from something like that. I just assume.
So you think there was a plethora of
We know that a lot of people benefited from it. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. Navita, the real Africans, the Ghana, when I first went to Ghana, I never touched a hotel. She didn't even let me know what hotels existed. She didn't have money for plane tickets, that didn't have money to go to school, that was just America talking about I wanted to unite with. But then you have to look at, when you got certain people that come over here, you got to realize, family, you got to realize that they are coming from families of wealth. And those families, a lot of those families, we have to ask them, where did you get your wealth from? Before you even want to look at me, for yourself. Because I know for a fact, and a lot of people don't want to deal with this, I know for a fact that was sent over here. The whole world benefited. We are the ones that not only built America, we built the goddamn world from our suffering. And they still getting paid off our... I'm just...
No, I agree with everything you said. I totally agree with everything you said. I just want to say one other thing. Because she said, do you believe that, do you really think those people left this continent without money being changed in hands? Do you see loads of any kind of commodity leaving the shore and no one gets paid for it? That don't happen.
Let me tell you, this is a real story. Wait, this is a real story. I was at a club, and I got into a debate. I mean, this how Brother Hatem kicking. I'm out, I'm drinking, and I get in a conversation in a debate with a brother from Nigeria. I can't remember what we was debating about, but it was some Hatem shit. I'm sitting up here, we having a good time, and we debating. And, you know, so he started bragging about how, you know, it was something about along the lines how African Americans weren't able to progress because of our work ethic and shit. And, you know, I'm about to smash this motherfucker. I'm like, yo, dude. And he started bragging about his grandfather who died at 109 years old, and he owned a whole bunch of land and shit. And just as I was about to hit this motherfucker with the wild woo-wee, because your grandfather was able to maintain land for that long because he was involved in the slave trade, they called him to the stage because he was a comedian. And I love my people. I love all my people. You know what I'm saying? And I can forgive some bullshit. But you got to be honest about it. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah, I tell one thing I want to say that was pointed out when we start talking about the destruction of a black civilization. The things that we do here that are counterproductive to our progression, we too did in Africa on this continent, but it started on the continent of Africa. And if we don't go back and look at some of those behaviors, some of those actions, some of those ideologies that we held, that some of those people on that continent held, that we continue to hold today, we won't be able to pull ourselves up. We won't be able to bring about change or a revolution. But if we just think that it is just significant to this here continent, we're going to miss the piece that no, this actually existed. These ideologies and ideas existed prior to us coming here. And what she's talking about with the selling of slaves and the participation in the slave trade, significant to this here continent is part of it.
Well, you know, selling out and all that.
But I want to say this too. Hakim's going to be mad at. I mean, I'm not trying to get him going today, but the Negro speaks rivers. So when we speak about arts of what we've done, I mean, we constantly will talk about what has happened to us as a consequence of being it, or fail to acknowledge the fact that this is our country. This is our country. We built this country. It is our country. On our ingenuity, on our slave labor. Right. We built this country. So this country is just as much mine than anyone else's. So you would have me call myself an African American, but the reality
that's where I disagree with you. Anybody else's? Fuck that. I'm not on that equality shit because nobody ever wanted to give us. It's more ours than anybody else's.
That's right.
Your ancestors, blood, sweat, and tears. Well, now hold on. No, hold on. Time out. I'm not gonna get into that argument. But what I am gonna say is this: the concept of America, the land, and that's the concept that's running this motherfucker. Now,
and I can have a discussion. And this is what I want to say. The last piece I want to say is that when this ideal, like I teach nothing but ESL students. So I got 2 points to make. Every last one of my students that I teach, they come from all parts of the world. And there's some things that I have seen right now we're talking about, my 8th graders are talking about the American Revolution. But one thing I was able to explain to them is that every last country represented in my classroom, every last one of their countries had a revolution. Every last one of their countries declared independence against a European country. The other piece that I have noticed, and I said this not too long ago, and I actually had Jay Adams at my school the other day, and I actually showed her what I was talking about. I gave my kids an assignment where they had to make a timeline, and because many of them are immigrants and sought asylum, they didn't have a chance to bring their records, or they don't have pictures and things of that sort, right? So I say to them, you can go online and just find some pictures that serve as an illustration for your work. The number of my students that not only from Africa but also from Nepal and places in Asia, they all chose white pictures to represent them as children. And I was so online to even put them in the hallway for people to see, because I knew if I was confused, other people were going to be confused as well. But it also let me know the wrath. You see what I'm saying? The wrath of this Eurocentric thinking. That these kids who are fresh from Ghana, fresh from Nigeria, fresh from Eritrea, Somalia, Ethiopia, they're all identifying themselves as white.
Also my Latino students, my students from El Salvador and places like that. It's very interesting. So I'm sitting there and I'm talking with one of my students, a Somalian girl, and she tells me, we're having lunch, and she tells me, so I look at her knowing that this child is just a half a shade lighter than me, and I'm trying to figure out why would she say that. But because her mother was light, about in Nigeria, about them bleaching their skin, which is something we have done in our history as well. But also now them making their result of white inferiority, we can think about the same thing is going on in these continents, right? I mean, I'm sorry, in these countries in Africa, and I'm not talking about South Africa. I'm talking about Ghana, right? Nigeria, along the coast. Yeah,
it's pervasive.
Right. That's a good word for it. Pervasive.
It's pervasive. You can't buy. I couldn't buy any kind of a skin cream when I was in Malaysia that didn't have skin whitening in it. Everything had skin whitening in it. I couldn't buy anything that didn't have skin whitener. Deodorant has skin whitener.
Shut
Everything.
Up. And this is Malaysia. So dealing with the concept, see, because this is dope. This is why I like mythology. European, right? My fault. West Asians have made how they look the universal look. So even in a child's imagination, if you don't grab them when they're young themselves with pale skin and long hair, this is why it's important that you grab the narrative of your family and the narrative of your tribe immediately, because whether you know it or not, they are being infected by this universal shit. And the universe that we are talking about is not this whole where we all are the same and we know it's all white. God damn it. The concept of beauty is white. The hair is white. Everything that could be detrimental to our children, everything that could build our children or destroy our children is based on them. So what we have to do is we have to be bold enough to snatch the narrative. This is why I keep on talking about folk tales and stories, because this is what gets into, this is what is at the back of everything that we do. From even if we go to the molestation and shit, motherfuckers can justify molesting a motherfucker because black kids are less than everybody else. It's not really a crime. We could justify that shit. Motherfuckers fight.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
When will your global ideal become a global reality?
So the question is when. The question is when. Now I actually believe that when the concept of this universal whiteness started, they had an end date for when it would start. For me, the question is not when. The question is, can I get it started? It doesn't matter when, because think about this. The whole concept of white supremacy, the whole idea of white supremacy, right? Or the way we discuss it now, is not from a white person perspective. It's from a brother by the name of Neely Fuller, who launched this idea in like 1960, in the early 70s. It came all the way up to 2018. Now we having people having discussions using the term white supremacy, not understanding that term was not originated by white folks. It was originated to identify a system by a brother. And his thought concept is now growing. He didn't know when the shit was going to go global. I'm not concerned about when my shit become universal. I'm concerned about how my shit affect my children and your children and all of our children right now, because I never know when one of these children that's coming from me will go global. So the question is not when. The question is, can we get the process started? Because it might take 30 years. It might take 100 years.
Hey,
I like to say that I agree. I think one of the, are you all there?
We're here.
yes.
Yeah, we're here.
I think one of the things is that building structure, it does require some patience But to be totally honest, it requires a little less patience when we're able to stay on task. I think when we're able to stay on task, we can get more done because we refuse to glide off more than one solution. But if my problem solving skills provide that I have a problem, okay, I'm discussing that problem with my community, and then I begin to discuss other problems with my community, which is a part of the process too,
right?
Because a lot of the issues are intersecting. So to discuss that is one thing, but to discuss that and never return is a whole nother thing, because that means that finalizing what at least our answer is today, well, what we plan to do today in order. I'm a solution-oriented person. So for every problem, there's more than one solution. I think just as well as what you were talking about, Hatem, I think, which is profound, universally, we got to be worried about, we have to be concerned with, how it affects us and our children. That's most important. And I think,
finish
is that inside of it being imperative for us to realize what has become universal for us here, is to also realize within that list of things, universally, sexuality, in terms of where we're actually starting, where we're exploring into, and where we're concluding, sexuality is the issue. And the sexual connotation and orientation of our children, the board with how we are going to move forward and how we're going to deal with the issues that that can give us warnings that, and a format to actually sit down and one at a time deal with the issues. One at a time find a solution. There's a problem that's existing across the board that we're all going to come together looking very much alike, being very much alike, and agreeing.
And I love what she's saying because I see it happening. I can visualize a panel. I can a community coming back together, revisiting these and talking about what it is that we're doing. But also, like I said, not only discuss a new one, but also to continue the discussion on those that we discussed real quick. The other day, my daughter, she tells me everything, right?
You mean my daughter-in-law? You mean my daughter-in-law?
Yeah, your daughter-in-law.
Okay.
To me and tell me anything. So I sit, and a lot of times I'm just taking it in, and I don't always comment until it's necessary, right? So I just take school the other day where one of the kids, they keep creating these pages, right? And they'll go on this page and they'll shame different kids in the building, right? So she's told me about this. Has happened several times. Well, this time she makes it to the page, right? And so she mentions it one night, doesn't go into detail over. So it's a sleepover. So she gets in my car and she says, Mom, I don't know who's raising my friends, but I wish their parents were more like you. She said, you have explained some things to me that makes it so that when people are doing these things and saying things about me that are not true, they don't affect me. I don't care who posted it. I don't care what they said because it's not true. So I'm not going to. And she said she tried the meetings that she and I attend and the camp that we attend and how we're able to go there and celebrate our blackness and celebrate who we are. And that has led to building up a foundation in my daughter so that when she goes to school, she can rock her afro. You know what I'm saying? Not caring if somebody's going to say something about her hair or how it's not long or her tech. She's oblivious to those things. It's too black, too strong, and too beautiful. You see what I'm saying? And within that conversation, it just reminded me how important it is to lay that foundation because, like you said, our kids are told that their black is not beautiful. Right?
Now I'm gonna say they're not told that. What they're shown is you a child and you see your mom with the same hair you got, but she covering that shit up. Or you see your dad, you know what I'm saying? He really ain't making a lot of money, but he going out to impress all these people. Talking about is that you have been able to. They
get more of that from programming, so that's propaganda.
So, hold on, let me finish. What you
They are
saying?
bombarded with these ideas.
Can I finish my point, please? All I'm trying to say is that you have either become involved or created an environment where what we're talking about, what the universal is us. Your daughter and your son and my son and some of our other kids, some of the other people that's been involved with us, we create a space. And I challenge other communities to that. I mean, like I say, even with our Kwanzaa, when I posted about our Kwanzaa, I challenge people to, because the whole piece is, let's come on. If we're going to compete, football, let's compete who could throw the best Kwanzaa. Let's compete who could set up the best camp where our children feel as if they are being empowered. If we're going to compete, let's compete on that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, you go Mayweather, you can have boxing and do your shit, and in 3 generations your money will be gone. But you know what's going to be happening with our kids in 3 generations, Lady J?
I already know.
Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? It's so some people could get the shine in the short run. What we got to understand, and what a lot of us forget, is that we are an agenda that's coming in the form of Kellogg's, or it's coming in the form of gentrification. We are in a generational warfare, family. And until we start, because my job is not to go out here and floss. That's why I was confused in my 20s. It's not to go out here and floss and to show people how much money I got. It's to sit up here and to set a platform upon which my kids can feel the best that they can. Every time my kids go to one of our camps or go to Simba camp or anything that we do, my kids get the praise.
So back to what the gentleman said about this universal. We start where we are. We start where we are, and it trickles out. I can't go out and save the world. I can't. It's true. So that's how we get it out. And when we network and we get enough people on the same playing field, and that's when we cause a ripple effect. And that's why I said years ago, I didn't understand what he was saying. Only 10% of us was capable. But what he was saying is you don't need everyone. You need your core group, and from that core group, you make a ripple effect. That's how the revolution starts. That's how the revolution starts. And so I would encourage us, and I would challenge us to do just what the Queen said, and go ahead and set up start planning for our panel, in which we will have these continuous conversations.
Can we have it in the woods? I would like to have something like that at a camp. You know what I'm saying? Really, I mean,
that would be wonderful.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because one, in an environment, because this is what happens. This is one of the things that I got from camping, and especially summer camp. Allowing people to simmer in the culture. You see, people don't understand. Like, for example, with summer camp. Now, I did camping trips before, but the very first time when I got home after summer camp, I sat in the tub because I wasn't able to get in the tub. I was so busy. Some days I didn't even get to take showers because my first time there, I had to really get out there and I had to really work with these boys and get things right for them and make sure everything. So sometimes I had to sacrifice. Sometimes I couldn't eat. You know what I'm saying? Because there wasn't enough food. So as a nation builder, I got to fill my tribe. And was so tired, and I got in the tub and I started crying. And I wasn't crying because I was tired. I started crying because I missed that shit already. See, we got to create environments where we are totally immersed so that we can simmer and know what it feels like. This is why.
Come on.
This is why I say something like this. People need, if we have these conversations, they need to simmer on it. This ain't no shit where we go to a European hotel and give them our motherfucking money and then we go home and be immersed back in the bullshit. No, we got to let this simmer. This is why it's important for us to pull up and go camping and do stuff, because we got to set up the environment where we can make happen what we want to happen, because it's in that sacred space. And we can call on our Creator and our ancestors to insulate that shit. You can't cook a soup in 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? A real good soup. Now you go and get the canned shit, but if you want a real good soup, you gotta let it stew. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. So first, that I was in second grade when I finally realized I wasn't Puerto Rican. Y'all laughing and shit. Hold on, I ain't started. When I was in kindergarten, all right, my sister came from California, and I thought I'd get her a gift, so I made her a card. I had some money, but I made her a card because it came from a heart card. My cousin called me Chico from Puerto Rico, and it stuck. And asked me to speak Spanish. I'm like, I don't know Spanish. And then the teacher had to go, oh, Puerto Ricans don't know Spanish. And then, but the fucked up part is that the teacher knew I wasn't Puerto Rican. Here we is. I live in a household with my 4 cousins, my grandmother, pissed off. Ask me why.
Because you the largest one.
Because I was the only one in the house without a Jerry curl. I couldn't get a Jerry curl. And I didn't know why. And instead of telling me, oh, you can't have a Jerry curl because your hair is already naturally curly, they would give me this activator bottle with water filled in it. So here I am going to kids in the school, right? Spritzing water in my head, wearing a curl cap, right? Now, here's what I knew. I had been tricked. I went out for recess, and the sun beamed down on my hair, and the shit got real nasty. I kept spritzing the water in it, and it started getting more frizzy and frizzy, and it didn't look like a Jerry curl. Classroom mad as shit because I got bedhead inside of a plastic bag. And so my whole point is that I didn't become a reactionary because of that experience. When I knew the truth, I knew, and to this day, if your family, friends, community member, if we hold no functionality in terms of embracing and helping to maintain our well-being, our quality of life, I truly believe that there is a major detriment in raising up a generation of reactionaries opposed to Kujichagulia. Choose for yourself. Choose for yourself without the bias that your parents brought into it, because we perpetuate our fears through the way that we teach our children. And some of us are not in the space to teach them to act instead of reacting all the time. When we get on the line, it's less today about what we can use our innovations and our resources to create that isn't here. It's more about why we have it and why it's going to be difficult for our children later on. And there's just certain things. Go ahead.
Now, so looking at the reality, I mean, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the reality. But looking at the reality, or looking at what is wrong to show your children that. It's wrong to have those discussions. Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
Okay.
No. It's just wrong to tell them that's the only way to win.
What?
So it's a good thing we're not doing that, everybody. So we're on the right path, is what he's saying. So, Brother Hatem, I want to ask you. So, in terms of having a forum like that, with there at the camp, one thing that I wanted to ask you, because I'd love to do that too. I'd love to be a part of that if I can. One thing I want to ask you too is it possible that we could maybe have a mock forum or a forum that's a prerequisite to having it there at the camp, so that some of the more mature details of the discussion we could discuss amongst the adults.
Hell yeah.
And then,
I mean, see, this is
better yet. How can we take it from a discussion panel into action?
well, first you got to discuss it first, obviously.
now. But I'm gonna go to this. Let me tell you what my superpower is, and it took me years to discover this. I discovered it last week. I had the ability to create time and space. Time and space. So, and I mean, all throughout my life, I'm looking at that shit, time and space. I've been able to create time and space. So the piece is, we can do that. We can have a conversation beforehand. Hell, we have, as a matter of fact, Sister Navita on the line, we got to talk about this next movie that we're going to do for,
right.
For, I mean, because we got people coming
fundraiser.
through. We have fundraisers as well as discussions on a regular basis. Every other week we do warrior training.
Yeah.
We got a warrior training coming up.
Week.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, for me, because sometimes setting other stuff to do it is complicated for me because I'm doing a lot of shit. So I'm like, boom, if we could fit it into what's already popping off, I have no problems with that because I have adults that come through. You know what I'm saying? I have young people that come through. You know what I'm saying? So the whole piece is, it's just a matter
of... We have discussions, and we have a discussion piece every 2 weeks, you know.
Every 2 weeks.
And camping trip, you know, we have discussions, you know. You know, we do a lot of things.
Have we heard a West Asian or Eurocentric view of Bird Box?
Not really.
I think the fact that I haven't heard anything about their view of Bird Box. I think people put too much thought into that shit, honestly.
Right, because I'm thinking like, all right, who came up with the idea anyway that it was about white supremacy?
I don't know, buddy, but I didn't see that shit at all.
Right. Now, R. Kelly thing. I saw this thing yesterday. I saw this clip where this Muslim brother is crying like boo-hoo tears over this R. Kelly thing. Not because of R. Kelly, not supporting R. Kelly, but he's just like, you know, how is Lifetime going to spend this money to do this when the African people need a documentary, right? He's like, how are they going to throw R. Kelly under the bus when Lifetime is owned by this other network, AME, and the CEO of AME was brought up on charges of for pedophilia. So how are they using this money to go after another pedophile instead of appropriating that money for a documentary about the African American history or the African?
They're doing what they essentially meant. I see on that Lifetime movie, it was successful. It's sad that you watched it? Hell no, I don't need to watch it, but I see people's reaction to you. We're just taking people's word for it because White Daddy said this is what it was, and White Daddy got these girls and stuff. When you start bringing in all these other aspects, I'm going to automatically question the validity of it. That's just me. You can't just, so I don't give a fuck about no shit on Lifetime. I really don't. I don't trust nothing else. Some sisters to come on and say this is what happened. I mean, they said that shit, I don't know how many years ago. This ain't no new shit. You know what I'm saying? But now that now they're taking this stuff off the radio and all that stuff, I think it's an even deeper issue than the pedophilia piece that people are addressing with this whole R. Kelly thing.
It's definitely deeper.
But,
I mean, of course there is.
Different topic. I think we was on a different...
Right? Yeah. And when it comes down to it, like, I mean, a more valid issue, and it makes sense. I don't want to believe it, but it just makes sense. Somebody said, and it wasn't just somebody, it's about 100 videos on YouTube talking about how, like, if you eat from McDonald's, Most they putting these homeless and missing people in the meat.
Oh my God. What? Okay, you know,
listen to what I'm saying.
Problem
Go,
of
get to the
losing our
point.
children.
There's actually a and there was a video that actually I was one of the people that was disseminating the video, but they took the video down once they realized it was just going everywhere. But this video, this whistleblower was in this video and telling on McDonald's, but he was talking about the Zionists. All of this was a part of that whole Illuminati and then Zionism, that they were actually kidnapping the kids after they take their organs and their blood and whatever they want from out of them. Then they would grind up those missing children and they put it in the meat. And this Jewish whistleblower was the one that came out with the story to put the Zionists on blast. He was telling on them because the Jewish people are at odds with the Zionists. They don't want to be looked at as the same because the Zionists are actually involved in Illuminati and the Jewish people are not on that far left and end of it.
Well, I mean, and that I don't know too much about that story. I didn't get to read about it or what. I'm happy, but I think with an organ theft is real. We know that. But like I said, we lose more of our children to being criminalized as juveniles than we do to organ theft. It's a real issue in this country. It's legalized slavery, and we don't. And it's like we just watch it, and it just goes on and goes on and goes on. And I don't know, but I don't know. I had tuned on my TV and on my phone, so. I don't know what the actual topic was when I called. I thought we were talking about the...
hold on. I always lead into that, but hold on. I want to welcome... hold on, Sister Navita. They can't hear me. Can you hear me?
Working with Hot Tim. I'm honored to work with Hot Tim. Tracy, that was at the house the other day, I'm honored to work with your brother that owns the school. I'm honored to work with you guys because these are people who are actually putting in...
They can't hear me. Check 1, check 2. It froze again. I don't know what's going on with. Check 1.
This conference is being recorded by the organizer.
Coming out with, we got the newsletter coming out. We got the warrior training coming out. So we need people who are going to be dedicated to get a lot more fundraisers and things going. And I think it's very important. And we got to get more young ladies involved in the program.
Check 2.
So we're going to really be kicking off this year in a big way because we keep increasing. So anybody who's listening, anybody on the line that feels like they could be a part and wanted to, please submit your application. You can drop something to my Hot Tim or myself. And when we get the application filled out, we could definitely, I'm hoping to do an online application that we could do a piece that to, see where you can definitely be of some assistance to the young men and the young ladies that we serve in the community, because this is our future.
Check 1.
Mm-hmm. That's so true.
All right, hey, so can y'all hear me?
Where's Hot Tim at? He's still on here?
I thought I was on, but
I'm here.
Well, somebody better say something, goddamn. Somebody say
still
something.
On?
Yeah, I'm on.
I think I'm
here. This might be a.
Can you see him? Because I can't see.
All right, I'm on, family, but something going on with my mic.
This conference is being recorded.
My mic don't sound nice. Check 1. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right. Okay. Cool. All right, so,
no.
You can't?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. So, family, we have been on for almost 3 hours, somewhere around. I'm gonna tell you exactly how long we've been on. We've been on 2 hours and 24 minutes. So I want to thank. Yeah, I mean, really, 2 hours, 24 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And I want to thank everybody for taking the time to call in. I want to take time for, I want to thank all the family that took the time to post up. And, you know, like on the weekends, we are able to dine, to toast and discuss. And also, we could talk about putting together the forum, especially like I said, I just like people to stew over the shit. I don't want people to be, because one of the things I learned about rites of passage, one of the first steps in rites of passage is separation. So that because they separate you so that you are not privy to all the old stimuluses that you had. So you have to separate an individual so that they could be initiated. So that they could stew in that wisdom, that knowledge, or whatever you throwing on them, and then you reintroduce their ass, right? Because oftentimes we do little forms and stuff, and we hit them with real quick bites, and they're able to go immerse themselves right back into the fuckery that they was doing before, and forget everything that, you know, I wanted to make a change, but you know, how you gonna make a change when you only had 2 hours of it? And you know, you might have every intention of leaving that room and making a change, but you have not had the time to adapt your life to it. So we need to be able to provide our people with getaways where they can go and incorporate the culture into their life. And it don't cost a lot of money. Now, those people that be like, well, you know, I'm not going to sleep on the ground, and you don't want to be free. God damn it, because when they come at us, where you think you gonna be sleeping when they chasing our ass? You're gonna be sleeping on the ground. If you ain't able to sleep on the ground.
Are you talking about on the camping?
Yeah, on the camping trip.
Sleep in the tent?
Right, sleeping on it. I mean, because this is the way we could keep it affordable. This is what people don't understand. The reason that I keep on harping on going camping is because it makes everything affordable. Because you and Shaka and everybody else that came out to that camping site, y'all see how much space we got. We had enough space for 150 people. For 12, I mean...
And the young men, let me tell you, I don't know nothing about tents, which I need to learn, but I was able to go buy some tents, and the young men put them up like that for me. Like that. They already know how to do it. You know, and that's a skill in itself.
And that's from years and years of us doing this. But what I'm trying to tell people is we want to pay all this money for these workshops and all these spaces when the state has camping grounds that are available to us for like $30 a day. We rented two sides, and each side can hold 100 people. We had that whole area. And there's one close enough to Columbus that once we start doing it, family, we can have a concert out there.
I really like that one. I wasn't at the other one, but that one that's by Alum Creek, that was dope.
That's dope. That one is dope. That's the dopest one. And then on top of that, with that space.
And you can go back there and fish.
Not only can you go back there and fish, you got that whole area. And what people don't understand is all the way out to the gate is yours for that time. So when you walk down towards the gate, I don't know if you remember driving towards the gate, it's a gate right there. All of that is yours. You even have the space up on top, all the way out into the water on the top of the dock, as well as the water that's right by you that you can fish. We could throw a concert there. I'm just saying. We can have any type of workshop we want for pennies on the dollar.
Well, Brother Hudson, I'm gonna come off of the line, but I did want to say thank you so very much. I enjoyed the conversation so much. Please let me know when you all want to do the forum concerning, the sexual balance within our community. Please let me know, because that's something that I am very interested in, as well as you already know that I'm interested in the work that you're doing with boys and young men. That's my area too, but it's your area for natural purposes more so. So I really appreciate the work that you're doing, and I do talk about that work whenever I'm doing an interview or anything like that. I usually bring up your name and the work that you're doing in the community here in Columbus. So keep doing what you're doing. Y'all, I enjoy all of y'all's comments. I really enjoy staying on task more than anything, and I enjoy structure more than anything because structure builds on top of foundation. And I look forward to us in the black community doing more of that because it also produces more results. So I thank you. I love y'all. I appreciate you, and y'all have a wonderful rest of the day.
Cool.
You too, sir. You too.
Right,
I'm going to roll out too. I'm going to tune in for the rest of the show. And peace.
All right. Anybody else got any last words? Last words, because I'm about to shut it down.
I'm going to say my last words. I'm going to go have dinner. Good night, guys.
Wait, is nighttime where you are?
Yeah, it's 6:36. It's time for me to eat dinner.
Family International. Shaka, you got any last words before we get up out of here?
Peace.
Peace, family. Thank you for joining us. I want to remind you, you are now listening to you have joined the Congregation of the Mighty. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. Thank you, Anime. This is a Heart of a Simple production. Of course, you know, we have just finished the Daily Toast and Talk on the weekends, and we say it's a Heart of a Simple production. We strive to blow up your old paradigms, and we did the show exactly 2 hours and 30 minutes. Family, like and share. Let's build up the movement. We need to be toasting our ancestors. We need to be having conversations. You know what I'm saying? Conversations, disagreements, fallouts, and all that shit, so that we could go on and continue building. You know what I'm saying? All right. So who's somebody still on the line? Who on the line? What's going on? Who that? Oh, that's still okay. Cool. I thought. All right, but I'm about to hang up. And family, we strive to blow up your old paradigms. Explosion. What's that kind of money? You just all you gotta do is explode. That's all. You can't explode. All right. Peace out. Peace.